UFC Fight Night, FIZIEV vs. TORRES is going down this Saturday, and these are my predictions over the entire card. It's looking fairly decent. We got a couple of big names. FIZIEV, he's known for sure. TORRES is on a bit of a run. Magomedov. Overall, it's a decent card. Last time they were in Baku, Azerbaijan, it went fairly decent. If I'm remembering correctly, they almost all ended in a finish. Hopefully this one follows suit. Let's get right into it. We'll start with the early prelim opener of Tahir Abdullayev versus Jefferson Nascimento. Both these guys making their debut. I'm taking Nascimento. He's undefeated. I want to say he's 9-0, 10-0, somewhere around there. Abdullayev is I'm not positive on his record off the top of my head. He does have a few losses on the regional scene, and that's kind of why I'm choosing Nascimento. Abdullayev, he's fighting on, UAE Warriors, organizations such as that. And he's fighting these guys who are, 7-9, 14-20, 0-2, 1-1. Like, it's guys that he should not be fighting. So I will be taking Nascimento to win this fight. I can almost guarantee, the Tapology has a picture of Abdullayev. I guarantee he is not going to look like that picture. Definitely on the sauce. These guys, they all are on the sauce. They hop off it for their debut, have a bit of a stinker. I think Nascimento is going to win this fight. Next up the card, we have Bekzat Almakhan versus Jin Matsumoto. This is a tough one. I'm going to take Jin Matsumoto to get this one done. Almakhan he's a great striker. He's got big power in his hands. He's kind of shown that he's not the best at point fighting. He's not really good at winning a decision. If he doesn't get that KO, a decision generally doesn't go his way. Matsumoto's kind of turned into a decision merchant in his last few fights. So I'm going to take him to survive the onslaught, and I think he's going to win a close decision. It's going to be a great fight. These two guys should put on a hell of a fight. But I think Matsumoto, he's proven that he's good at winning close decisions. He's got a few splits. He's got a few very close unanimous. I think it's going to go the same way in this one. I think I don't really see a finishing factor for Matsumoto here over Almakhan, but I do think he's going to be able to win a very close 29-28 decision. Next up the card, we have Daniil Donchenko versus Theodore Bergerin. I'm going to take Donchenko. He's looked really good. He looked good on Tough. I know it's tough. It's tough to really rate Tough super highly. But he did look good on Tough, and he has had 2 fights in the UFC. He had the Tough finale in the UFC, and then he's had 1 more fight in the UFC since, and he's looked good. I believe he fought Alex Morono in his last one. Wasn't able to put him away, but he pretty well put belt to ass in that fight. I don't think Theodore is really UFC level yet. He's really young, very young fighter. He's just not really got that it factor, I guess you could say. He doesn't just have huge power that could put Daniil away. He might have grappling deficiencies. I believe he's a kickboxer primarily. So I don't think he's going to get. I don't think it's going to be a ground fight. I think it's going to be primarily striking. But I think Daniil's just levels above this guy. I think they're kind of just throwing him on. I believe Donchenko is supposed to fight someone else. Yeah, so Donchenko is supposed to fight Gustafsson, but he was basically forced to retire due to heart palpitations. So they pulled Berggren in. This isn't super short notice, but it's not like he had, a true fight camp for this. I don't think he's going to look terrible, but I think Donchenko is going to show that he is the UFC guy for a reason. Donchenko to get this one done. Next up the card, we got Con Ofli versus Javier Reyes. I'm going to take Reyes to win this fight. Ofli's coming in at a big reach disadvantage. I want to say 5 inches. Oh, a little bit more than that. It's like 7. Yeah, I think he's got decent power. Good grappling, so I don't think that's really a threat to him, is just getting taken down and smudged. I think he's going to keep it on the feet, and I think he's going to find the shot to put Ofli away. We have seen him get colded before. So I think Reyes is going to find that shot and just put him to sleep. I can't. I want to say this is a bit of a layup for Javier Reyes, but at the same time, it's really not. Hopefully he is skilled, and Reyes has yet to really prove himself against UFC caliber opponents. So it is a bit of a tough one. I'm going to take Reyes to win this fight by KO, though. I do think he's going to find the shot on Ofli. Next up the card, we have Nursultan Ruziboyev versus Andrei Pulayev. Another kind of tough fight. I'm going to take Ruziboyev to win. Pulayev, he did take Gaudier to a decision. I want to say that one went the full distance. And Ruziboyev did get kind of smudged by Joaquin Buckley, so that's not a good look. He's got much more experience. I want to say he is coming in at a reach disadvantage, but he's bumping up to middleweight. So that is a huge factor in why I'm choosing him. He is kind of one of these guys where he fights middleweight and welterweight, so it's not a huge lighter man skill issue. But I think there is going to be a lighter man skill in this fight. Pulayev, he didn't really look the best against Gaudier. He didn't look terrible, but he did not look like he was just he was in there to win it ever. So I will be taking Ruziboyev to get this one done. I want to say by KO, but it could just be a boring decision. But he does have power. He's 6'5". He does have some gangly power. I'm just hesitant to really put my money behind a KO. So I will be taking Ruziboyev to win this fight. I'm just not positive how. Next up the card, we have Abdul Rahman Yakayev versus Julius Walker. Gonna take Yakayev to win. Undefeated guy fighting Julius Walker. I believe he's only been out of the first round twice. He has 1 decision and then 1 finish in the second round. So that could be a bit of an issue. I don't think it's going to be. I think he's going to find the sub quick on Julius Walker. And if he doesn't, I think he is more than capable of putting him away with his hands. I just, there's not much really to break down on this one for me, anyways. I really, I don't see a path to victory for Julius Walker unless there's just like hidden gas tank issues that we don't know about because he's gotten first round finishes. Um, but I mean, then again, I think Walker's going to get finished in the first round. So I don't think we're going to see those if he does have them. I'm going to take Yukayev to win this fight. Very good on the feet, very good on the ground. I want to say he has like 6 subs. No, probably like 4 or 5 subs, few KOs, and then that one decision. So I'm taking the finisher, Yukayev, to beat Julius Walker. Next up the card, feature fight of the prelims. We got Farman Hasanov versus Eric Nolan. I'm gonna take Eric Nolan to win this fight. You know, Hasanov did look good on Contender Series, but I think Nolan's striking is just a little bit cleaner. I think if they're kind of standing toe to toe and start chucking, I think Nolan's going to be able to find the shot that puts him away before Hasanov finds the shot. You know, I don't really see it going to the ground. I do think Nolan has worked on his sub defense a lot coming off that last fight. I believe he got rear naked choked in his debut. That's a tough one. So I would imagine that he's drilled bad ground positions heavily. So I will be taking Nolan to win this fight. Hasanov's another guy. You know, he looks yoked in his tapology, but when he gets into the UFC, don't know. He might not look the same if you're picking up on what I'm putting down. I will be taking Eric Nolan to win this fight. On to the main card. We got Abus Magomedov versus Michael Olasechuk. I am taking Michael Olasechuk to win this fight. You know, he's been training at the Fighting Nerds gym in Brazil there. He's looked really good since he started training there. Olasechuk, he's looked solid in his last few. I want to say he's on like a 4-fight win streak, 3 or 4, somewhere around there. One of his last losses is to Kevin Holland when he broke his arm, got a technical submission, didn't tap out or anything, so you can't really count that as a loss if you know what I mean. So I will be taking Olasechuk to win this fight, mainly because I just do not like Abus Magomedov. I don't know what it is about this guy, but I do not like him. I don't. Maybe it's just this look he's giving me right now. I don't like it. So hopefully Olasechuk slimes him out. Next up the card, we got Ikram Alaskarov versus Bruno Ferreira. I'm going to take Bruno Ferreira to win this fight by knockout. Alaskarov, he's a decent striker. He is clean on the feet. But he hasn't really shown me that against these I'm not going to say top level guys because I don't think Ferreira is a top level guy. But against these guys who are just big, heavy-handed fellas, he's kind of shown that he wilts a little bit. He's got a knockout loss to Bobby Knuckles. Ate an uppercut and went to sleep. I want to say, so he does have a 4-inch reach advantage in this fight. So that is something. But when Ferreira gets in close, he is dangerous. He's got such good short hooks and just dirty boxing, clinching up, knees, elbows. He is so dangerous when he gets in close that I think the reach is not really going to play a factor, or not really be a factor. Um, like I said, he's got such good, just short, close range hooks. I think Ferreira is going to dart in, catch Alaskarov. Maybe not just put him to sleep, but wobble him enough to follow up with a shot that does put him to sleep. Ferreira has big power. He's a big, strong dude. Um, so I will be taking him to win this fight by knockout. Next up the card, we got Asu Almabayev versus Charles Johnson. Bit of a tough one, but I'm going to take Charles Johnson. This guy just has a knack for beating people who are better than him and should beat him handily. He was an Olympic sprinter, very, very fast, and he still has extreme speed for this division. He's a big guy too, 5'9", 70-inch reach versus a 5'4", 65-inch reach. The grappling is a bit of a red flag in this one, I guess you could say. Almabayev is very, very good at getting people down and holding them down. But I think Unk's going to get this one done. I think he's going to catch Almabayev, make him really respect his power. And if he doesn't put him away with that big shot that he catches him with, he's going to, follow up. He's got great finishing instincts. If he has you hurt and he smells blood in the water, chances are the fight's over. He's got to win over Josh Van, got to win over Loney Kavanaugh. These guys are very, very, very good flyweights. Charles Johnson kind of gets in these fights where he's supposed to win, and I almost think it gets in his own head, Either that or he's just a fluke master 3000. Could very well be a possibility. Either way, I'm going to take Charles Johnson to get this one done. Next up the card, we got Nazim Sadikov versus Mateus Camillo. I'm going to take Nazim Sadikov to win. I just don't think Camillo is on his level of MMA striking. Sadikov has super clean boxing combinations. He's got good power. Last time he fought in Azerbaijan, he fought Nicholas Mota, I want to say, and I want to say that's when they had their war. He can take a shot to give a shot. He's got solid grappling too. He goes out there and you kind of think he's just pure striker. Just looking at him, looking how he kind of fights, you think he's a pure striker. But this guy, he does have solid grappling. It's not the best. It is a bit of a weak point in his game, but it is decent, solid takedown defense at the bare minimum. I think he's going to find the shot on Camillo to put him away. Like I said, last time he fought in Azerbaijan, last time he fought in Baku, he put on just a hell of a show. And I really think he's going to put out for the fans again. I think he's going to win this fight in spectacular fashion. Nazim Sadikov to win. On to the co-main event. We got Shara Magomedov versus Michel Pereira. Gonna take Magomedov to win. His only loss is coming to MVP, and we've seen time and time again that MVP is just a hard guy to beat. He knows how to win a decision. If you don't just put him away, MVP is gonna beat you on the scorecards. That's just the way he fights. Magomedov couldn't find that shot. I think he's going to find the shot on Pereira. Pereira's, I want to say he's been knocked out in 2 of his last 4 fights. 2 of his last 4 and 3 losses in his last 4, I want to say. I think Magomedov's going to find the shot. He's very, very elusive on the feet. Very good at just like mixing in weird shit on the feet too. He had the double spinning back fist KO. That's only 2 or 3 fights ago on his record. So he's just very creative with his striking. Granted, he does have one eye that is a big ol' hitch in his game plan, I guess you could say. Blind on the right eye. Very susceptible to counter lefts and such. But he knows about it. That's been part of him for however long. So he has kind of evolved into fighting with that. And honestly, it's all right if he gets hit in that eye. If it swells shut, who cares? You can't see out of it anyway. You know what I mean? Pereira could win this via grappling. He could get a funky sub on Magomedov. That is definitely a possibility. But I think his chin is very questionable right now. And Magomedov has big power. Like I said, he's very creative on the feet. When you're fighting someone like him, it's not necessarily the power in the shots that put you away. It's the fact that you're not seeing what he's throwing. You're expecting a left hook and he's hitting you with a teep up the middle. It's weird shit that he throws, and it works. A lot of spins, a lot of kicks. I think Shara Bullet's going to get this one done. On to the main event. We have Rafael FIZIEV versus Manuel TORRES. This is a tough one. Very high-level strikers in each of these guys. I'm leaning more towards TORRES to win this fight. Like I said, FIZIEV is a very good striker. Very heavy Muay Thai base. He is kind of funky on the ground, too. I remember watching him, I believe it was 313. It was either 313 or 320. It was 313. So it was him and Justin Gaethje. And he almost got a reverse triangle on Justin Gaethje, which would have been crazy. I would have lost a lot of money on that one. So I'm happy that it didn't happen. But it just kind of goes to show that he is funky on the ground. He does train the ground game. It's not his main game plan. He would like to go out there and knock you out. But he is comfortable on the ground. TORRES just has very clean boxing. I don't think it's going to end in a knockout. It could. FIZIEV is coming off a KO loss. I just don't think TORRES is really going to find the shots to KO FIZIEV. I do think he's going to win a dominant decision. Towards like the end of the 4th, early in the 5th, I could see a TKO potentially, but I'm leaning more towards like a dominant 49-46 decision. Maybe FIZIEV wins the first and then he kind of dies off. TORRES has looked good for sure. Neither of these guys really have an it factor though. I guess for TORRES it would be his power, but I'm not positive that power carries through to the level of opponent that he's fighting now. Fiziev's been in there. He's been in there on some big stages. He's been in big fights. He's fought very tough guys. Uh, he just doesn't. It's the it factor, you know. I'm leaning more towards Torres because of the KO power. Um, but this is a tough one. So, final answer: Manuel Torres to win this fight. Uh, Overall, you know, like I said, this is a decent card. Fiziev, Magomedov, Sadikov, Charles Johnson. We got Olasechuk, Bruno Ferreira. That freaking goblin motherfucker. Yeah, I mean, overall, it should be a decent card. It's happening early. 7 a.m. Mountain Time is when the prelims kick off. So make sure you set your alarms and tune in to watch this one. That'll be the video. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Wheezy MMA. I'm Wheezy, and I'm out. Have a good one.